Let's start with the stream. And the game for today, my recommendation will be Hyper Light Drifter. And so you can get it on Steam and other platforms. There is on consoles too. I believe there is on the Epic Game Store also. It was offered as a free game before, so you might have it already. And Hyper Light Drifter is a pixel art 2D game, RPG-ish. It's an action adventure, and it's Souls-like. Yeah, the combat system is quite fun. I recommend a lot this game. The developer and publisher is the Art Machine, so yeah. The developers were also the publishers, which is something we aspire to be too. And let's start by first sharing it on our chat. So you can buy the game in here. You can buy the soundtrack in here. Yes, you need to get good to play this game. And let's just hope for the sound to be in proper levels. There you go. Oh, you haven't played it yet. I highly recommend it. It's an awesome game. It's way awesome. You should play it, by the way. So I don't know if the audio is good right now, because my settings will all mess it around. Stupid updates. It's a quite good looking game too. The thing is, if the sound is not too loud, or you can't even hear the music, that's quite important to have the sounds right. Sounds a bit like Zelda. Well, it depends on the game. If you talk about the latest one, the Breath of the Wild, were actually not the latest, because there was the remake for the other one, and there's a brand new one, remaster or remake, the Sky Swords, I believe. It's coming out in this Friday. Oh, the music is nice and soft. Yeah. The Breath of the Wild it's kind of like that, but they also break the music into pieces like it's broken. It's something else. But yeah, maybe someday I play some Breath of the Wild and we can enjoy that. I don't say perfect, but best game ever. But talking about games, we should start working, shall we? And so for today we are going to make our enemies go around. Because let's just look in our game engine. I'm programming in Godot, and our programming language is GDScript. And as we can see, we can start the game, test it around. We have some combat system. We can get close to the enemies and they start moving. but they only move when the player is close to them. When the player isn't close to the enemies, they kinda sit in there and just idles for a while. That isn't fun. We want the enemies to be able to patrol around, to have some area they move, and if the player gets near to that, then the enemy starts pursuing our player. Otherwise, they just stay patrolling and go on their lives, basically. Ellen in her full glory. It's not Ellen, it's Scarlet. It's Scarlet. Come on, man. But yeah, that's what we are going to do today, is making the enemies walk around. So, to make the enemies walk around, we shall make them, let's just say, have a place to go. If we analyze some code right here, our AI controller, which is the AI that controls our enemies, they have a target to move to. And this target right now is configured to be move to the player. So if the enemy has a player as target and it can move, and this as player is triggered on this check collision with the player, or it can also be the in combat. So if our enemy is in combat and the combat controller says that the enemy must move to rearrange the combat system, as we have multiple combat points. We have a multiple combat turn-based system, which is the enemies rearrange to be in the position to combat our character in these 5 points. So if they rearrange, there is in combat. So what we are going to create is a third condition, which is if the enemy is patrolling, is going around. And that condition will update the target. So if our enemies are in combat, then it should follow the player, or it should follow the position inside the combat system. So if it's pursuing the player, or it's moving to its combat position. Now we should add a new condition that will make the enemy pursue a specific point, and when it arrives at that specific point, it should also move to the next one. And by that we can program a very specific patrolling area for that enemy. Of course, we will need to program every single enemy with its every single patrolling area. But yeah, it's better than just making them being stuck in one place. We're also going to update in the future the movement of our enemies. So they right now have a very simple AI movement. So if it detects that it's with the player or in combat, and the movement just says goes to the place with just a movement offset, and that's it. There is no wall detection or obstacles detection and avoidance. There's nothing like that. I will probably implement a patrolling a path following AI system, more known as A-star AI pathfinding, but that will be in the future when we are polishing the movement of our enemies. Right now we are just making them move to a certain point and go around our map. So for that we have a target, we have the S player, and we have the in combat. So if the player if the player as player in our detection is true, then the enemy will pursue the player. If it is in combat, then it will move to the combat position. If it's not in combat, then if combat is false and as player is also false, then the enemy is going to move to a new target, which is the path following points. So how the hell am I going to do that? I have an idea, but first I need to confirm something in the combat controller. So as you can see, we have the S player and in combat, but if we are in combat, this S player should become false, or it's just the can move. So check collision. Maybe replicate some of the targeting the player code, but apply it to the game object without physics or anything else. I don't know. I don't actually know code. Yeah, I could do that, but that is also called spaghetti code, and that is a bad behavior that programmers have, basically. If it's work for something, just let copy paste in another place and that should work. But that is a bad behavior. You should create a function that does exactly that. So move to this place. I'm actually already doing that. So the player is moving to the player or the position in combat with a single target, and that's what I want to use. But it will not be the player, it will not be the position in combat, it will be the path following node. So I will need to create a new node for that. And I want to remember what I did before, just to make sure I'm not doing something that breaks the game, you know? It's kind of important. Bugs are fun and all, but if you release a buggy game, no one's gonna buy it. Well. So, in the combat system, we have the detect enemies, camera position, and the detect enemy should be the one that triggers the in combat. Let's just see, where is it? This is becoming too big, but anyway. Yes, this triggers the in combat. So what the hell triggers the other one though? Because if the player... Oh, they can move. So if it's in combat, but it's not the player... Ah, okay. In combat false. Okay. Now I'm understanding what's happening. So it only checks for collision with the player if it's not in combat. Okay. That's why it doesn't update the target with the player, because it can't do this. So if it's already in combat, it will not update our target, which is the path following. And yeah. So you forget what you did on the AI. Thanks to follow. Oh, we have a new follow. So I'm kinda newbie, so I didn't get the thing that says the follow. Thank you. Cenobitio, Cenobite the offset. Thank you for the follow. Yeah, there you go. Our marketing goal working good. So we need to have the target. Yes, it will be the AI path following, but this should update if our player isn't in range. So we need to have two targets, which is the path following target and the player target. So the path following target will work as intended, but if the player enters in zone of contact, then our enemy will pursue the player. But if the player isn't in the detection area, then our character, in this case the enemy, will follow the path following point. Well, I'm kinda bad with naming, so sorry. Well, let's just see how am I going to do that. How am I going to do that? Because I don't want to broke the system already implemented. That's the thing. So we have the check collision, which is going to detect the thing that we want to collide with. This is going to be very useful because I want to update the next target with this code. But that's going to create a problem because it's going to be the object itself and not the next target, which is going to be annoying. So, And there is also the other problem. If I use this, it will trigger the S player, and I don't want that. The check collision should be the check player. I should have another function doing the player part and another function doing the path following part. But actually the path following could be another one. Could be similar to these detect enemies. So the path following nodes could have an enemy detection. When an enemy hits that path following place, then it updates the target to the new one. Maybe I will do it like that. Maybe I will do it like that. Yes. Yes. But for doing that, I should also make two new variables. So it's like each one of those spots are breadcrumbs. I don't know what you're talking about, but okay. Moving on. Chat being weird as always. So, oh, the spots on their path. Oh, yeah, like they are birds. Yes. You leave a breadcrumb in there, and then the enemy goes there. It eats the breadcrumbs and then moves to the next one. Yeah, it's basically like that. The concept will be exactly that. The only exception, the enemy is not going to eat the node, but it's going to move around, which is the important thing. Now I need to think the best option in here. because the enemy is going to move always, with the exception if it can move. That's the thing. Because it doesn't matter if it has a player or it is in combat, it always gonna move. Only if it's the can move, it's in false, only then it's going to stop moving being in combat. So if it's in combat, it's not gonna move. So I'm going to comment this line. I'm going to update it to a more simple one, which is the can move. And if it can move, well, it will move. And that's it. Very simple. The thing is, we should first update our target. So the target should be our previous one. And then if it's not the target we have, so if it's in combat, if it's not in combat, we'll check for player. If it finds the player, it goes the target. Now it's the player. If it doesn't find the player, the target will be the path following one. And that's what we are going to do. So we need to create an export so we can select the node we want the enemy to use in our in the inspector. And let's say in here export, this should be a variable which is going to be the object, and path target, and it's just like that. Now it's messing around because there has been a long time since I have done that. So how I have done previously. So array node path. How I have done that before. So there's the torch, there is slot, key, JSON, inventory, drops, door. I believe it's the door, but the door has an array. I don't think I want an array. But I'm probably going to do this node path, which selects this. So for every node path in this array, it will see if the node is null or not, and if it's activated. You should start leaving more comments so as to not forget what is what and where. Yeah, I have a basic knowledge of what I did. The thing is, I forget how I did it, and now it works. That's the thing. And that's also what happens when you start programming in a bunch of programming language. It's kinda messes around your thinking. But yeah, I'm kinda starting to remember how it's done. So you need to indicate what type of export you are doing. In this case, it's going to be a node to the and it's still okay. You need to be node path, and I shall. Okay, all right. You want the node path? You get node path. There you go. you get the node path. Now when we go to the to our 2D mode and select an enemy, a random enemy, let's just say we have the path target, and in here we are going to assign a node. This node will be a node that we are going to create after, which will be a special node, which is the node of path following. That node also is going to have another path target, which is going to update the new target when the enemy collides with that path, that specific node. Comment in your code. Only legends comment their code. Yes, yes. There is some place I'm doing that. There is some place I'm really doing that. I believe in the combat system. I'm starting to leave comments, as you can see. So there you go. I shall move this away. Okay. Nothing important on Discord, at least for now. So, we have this target, right? We shall create a new node that is going to be our path following node. So I'm going in our scene hierarchy. I'm going to add a new node 2D. It could be a very simple one. It doesn't need to be a very specific. Like Professor Bruno used to say, good practice. Yes, good programming practice. Always. But now I'm a 2D game object inherited by all 2D related nodes as a position, rotation, scale, and Z index. I don't understand why I can't select directly the node 2D in here. And I would like to know. I really would love to know. Really would. So let's just say, can you accept just node? No, you can't. So it must be path. There isn't any problem with that. So let's just proceed. So a node 2D. We only need a node with a transform position. It doesn't need rotation or scale or anything else. It is a simple node. This node shouldn't be inside the ogre. Should be a new node, which we are going to convert into a scene, so we can add it around the levels and say the enemies now are going to follow this path. So I'm going to call it the path node. This path node let's put it in the 0 place. Doesn't have any image. Maybe I should add it an image. So image. So it's a sprite. And what sprite I'm going to give it to it? Let's just check if there's something in here we can use for now. Maybe a coin? Yeah, a coin works. Why not? We can put it very small. So that is the offset, animation, region, transform. I want to transform in 0, 0, there you go. And this can be like 0.2, 0.2 in scale, there you go. And now we have our, it shouldn't move, I need to block, there you go. And now when I move it, I move the path node as well. There you go. We have a simple path node that we can use as an indicator. And when we see in here, we are seeing the coin itself, so we know the enemies are going to follow the coins. They are kind of goblins, goblin hoarders. They are getting all the gold they can get. They are following all the coins. There you go. We have a concept for it. Why I can't select it right now? Come on, man. Come on, don't select our canvas. Stop doing that. Lock it. Oh yeah, I can't lock the canvas itself. Come on, man. Don't do that to me. There you go. Now it's not going to piss me off again. That's kind of annoying. I hope when I update the Godot to the version 3.3, it's going to let me lock the canvas itself, because this is kind of annoying. Anyway, we have our path node, right? Now we are going to create a new script for it. So new script. It can be named as path node, why not? And in this path node, I will create a new path target. It will also have a path target. So where are you? Down there, go up. There you go. So the AI controller, which is going to be our enemies, they are going to follow this path target. And when they collide with this path target, they are going to update to the path target inside our node, which is going to update to the new target that the enemy should move. Alright? So first I'm going to disable the sprite. So $, I want the sprite dot enable. How do I disable a thing? Where I have that? Maybe invisible. Visible should do the trick. Okay, visible equals to false. This is basically to disable the coin icon when we start the game. And then we need a physics update, because we are going to create a collider. Let's just say that. So I want a physics function physics process delta. Now we have an update on physics, which is not per frame but per time specific. And then we can program a collider for it. I can actually use the collider we have in here. So the detection node, get overlapping bodies, and if it's the detection is actually the node itself, or in this case the path node will detect the collision with the enemy, and it's going to update the new target for our enemy. So let's just say it's going to be now, do I want to do something like this, or do I have a better option in our player controller? Take damage. I don't believe I have a detection in here. It's probably done on the enemy. Anyway, doesn't matter. I can use this check collision and check if we are colliding with the enemy. So we can delete this. Now this is going to be hard. So the groups should be enemies. Is in group enemies, and I will need to create a detection node which is going to be similar to this one, which is an area 2D with a collider shape. Exactly, so area 2D, and this area 2D requires a collider, so collider, it can be a square collider, so collision shape 2D. There you go. And this shape isn't set, so you need to give it a square one or a circle, doesn't matter. You can check the size of it. You can give it a double, so it doesn't matter, it can be this size. Now this area 2D I'm going to update to have the name detection, so it's going to be triggered in here, and I can call this function in the physics process. Now this as player and so on and so forth doesn't matter. What matters is if it's an object is the enemies, and if the object is enemies, then this returns I don't want this, so I want to have all the objects colliding with our path node. Yes, I want the objects to be all scroll down. If it's an enemies, then it's going to access the enemy. I don't care if there is a player or not, I care accessing the enemy itself. And object dot, now I need to get these variables. I don't know if I have direct access to it or not, we shall see. So I want the target inside this object, it will be equals to the path target. Now this is going to fire errors all over the place because this is a node path and I don't want a node path. I want, actually maybe I want a node path, maybe I want to update this path target and not the target itself. It's going to be better, it's going to be way better. So I don't want this target, I want this path target. Exactly, there you go. This is a better system. Now I must check if our colliders on our enemy are in the group enemies, and I don't remember how I have done that before. I really don't. How the heck did I put that in groups? So collision, we have layers, there you go. But I want the groups. There you go. There you go. Enemy. This is the group enemy. And this is the group player. There you go. So it's not enemies we want enemy. There you go. So we have the node path, we have the if it's ready or not, we have the collision with our enemies. Yeah, there you go. This is not the most optimized thing, we shall swap this in the future. I don't want every single path node doing collision check with our enemies. It should be the enemies doing the collision check with everything. They are doing collision checking here, so... But right now I just want to make them move, so let's just not worry about that right now. So, when an enemy collides with that, it's going to update. I just hope this is not going to break. Not to break it itself. There you go, AI controller. Alright. Now, the target. If it's not in combat, then it's going to check for the collision with the player. And when checking the collision with the player, if the player has target, so if it's collides with the player, it's going to update the target to the player and do the return. Otherwise, it's going to update as player to false. This actually can be done outside this if condition. And it can also update the target to be the other target that we have made in the node path. Now, I need to check if that node path is good or not with this if condition. There you go. And if that node path is good, then we can make it updated. So the new target, so this path target will be the target that we want to follow. So target will be equals to the path target. Now, no, this get node. Oh, okay. I should update this to the path target itself. There you go. There you go. Should I have the get node of the path target, or should I just leave in path target? I believe it should have the get node, right? Or wrong? Get node or no? Okay. Now I'm starting to see it. It doesn't need this check in here. The check is not going to be in here. Or it's going to be. It can be in here. So, get node or no. It will go to here. And our target will now be this node or no. There you go. There you go. And now the target, we should update it, because if it's null, it will have problems with the movement, right? So, if the player can move and the target isn't null, then the player can move, right? So let's just check if this works. Let's just check. There you go. Nice. So the path following is still working. Now we are going to make this path node as a scene. So save branch as a scene. And this is going to our prefabs folder. Save. And now I can spam around this path node So prefabs path node. It's going to be another in here. It's going to be another in here. I kinda hate that you are not in the 0 position. So don't mess around with my position in game. There you go. So it can have 4. Why not? Now I'm going to make a circle. Why this is blocked? Block this, block that, save it, and there you go. Now we have the path node, which is the first one. The fourth one is the last. Okay, so the first one will connect to the second, and the second one will connect to the third, and third one will connect to the fourth, which is the last one, and fourth will connect with the first. Let's just hope magic appears with this one. This is going to be the happy imp. So this one, the 2. So the path target will be the whatever, can be the second one, why not? So let's just check if this is going to work. Okay, the enemy has moved, but it's kinda stopped. So let's just check the first one. Okay, it has moved for this position. Let's just check if he's going to stop right in there. Right in there. Yes, it does. Yeah, he is moving, but it's not doing what I want right now. He's not doing what I want. So this check collision isn't triggering. Why? Why is that? So the player is in group player. This doesn't have that. No. Combat doesn't matter, dwarf. The combat system doesn't matter. What matters is the collision shape 2D, which is part of the player. But the enemies also have a collision shape. And the enemies are in group enemy. Player, enemy. So my script, detect the enemy. Why aren't you colliding and detecting the collision with the enemy? Because you have the script. You should have the script, right? Right? You have. You also have one, yes? All of them have the path node script. Does things and works. Alright, let's go. It does things and works. Wait a second. You are working. Why you are working? But you are not updating this path. Oh, okay, okay. I'm starting to understand. Because you can't access that variable. Okay, okay, now. How the heck do I get access to another script in here? So, what I did in the other scripts to get access to a script. Let's just say the combat controller has a lot of that. Get parent.sp, but I have that. So I select game object and I access that variable, which is the enemy, and I'm selecting the enemy variable that I'm trying to modify, which is the path target. Something's off in here. So I can access that, I think. There you go. We have a detect enemies in here, in combat controller also. So I'm getting overlapping bodies. Object in combat true. Yeah. Why aren't you doing the same in here? Alright. So, path. There you go, there you go. What's your drink of choice to stay hydrated throughout the day? As Cristiano Ronaldo said, water. Water is good. No Coca-Cola things, just water. And I'm kindly gonna ask for someone to share that meme in our Discord. So if you want to join our Discord, go ahead. I can actually share the link in here. So let's just check for it. I'm gonna ask someone to share the link, so I don't want to stop it. Alright. So you have this. So you have this. Get overlapping bodies. Get overlapping bodies. Oh, he's actually getting in this. Okay. You should detect this node, right? Come on. Come on, man. What's the thing? Yes, I should be detecting the enemies. Alright, I'm going to do it different. So I'm going to access directly the node. So detection. There you go. But that doesn't change the fact that it's not updating this one. Why? So you are not in combat, so you are check collision, and the check collision is doing this. And get the player. If it doesn't find the player, then it does this, get node or null path target, and there you go. Just to check if the print target. There you go. Object null. You only do it. There you go. No, but there is a node. So we started null for the rest of the others. We have a node, and then we have the same node. Same node. It is ever going to update or no? And there it becomes null because it didn't find it. It become null somewhere. It become null in here. So, documentation. Get node from node path. There you go. So we have node path, and we get the get node val. Get node val. Don't tell me we can just do get node, and that's going to fix that. Ooh, that's not the answer. That's not the answer. The game is broken all around. No, 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 no. This is not the answer, sir. This is not the answer. We should have the or no part. But then it goes no. Why you are doing that, though? Alright, I'm just... yeah, that doesn't do the trick. Now, in here, I'm going to check if the collision is with the player. And if it's not colliding with the player, then the target should be the path target. So target, I can do it before, so target will be equals to get node or null, because it can be null as well, path target. So it's going to move regardless, but it's going to stop in there. Alright. It's going to stop in there, in the first one. So we have a node path, path target. Don't tell me that I should do this. Yeah, you don't have a this. Don't tell me it was that. It isn't. So, we are in the dungeon and we have notepads. I'm going to delete the other ones because I just want two of them right now. So we have the first one, which is this one, and we are going to have the second one. There you go, the second one. It can be in here. So I'm actually going to make them right that. So the second one is going to be assigned to the first one. So this is the second. It goes to the first and the first. Why you don't have any? Second. Don't tell me it was that. If it was that... No, it wasn't that. So it goes to the first one. Yeah, it goes to the first one. But it doesn't update the second one. And we have the path target to the second one. Alright, now if he detects the enemy, so collide. So he collided one time. He collided one time, but it didn't update this one. So I want to know this, and I want to know this. So all of them are pointing to the path node 2. But why is not moving though? Path node 2. There you go. But in the first one, it should be the path node and then path node 2. Why is this? Path node. And then there is dot dot path node 2. Dot. Don't tell me it's this bullshit. Don't tell me it's this bullshit. It's going to be that bullshit, right? It's going to be that. I already know it. Alright. That's different. That's very different. That's very, very different. So, you go to the first one, and then you go to the second, you go back to the first one and stop. I don't understand, but okay. So, I'm going to make a print of this right here, and I'm going to make a print after, so the same thing. There you go. Now, so he has updated to the first. When he collided, it was the first, and then it got updated to the second one, and then he moves to the second one, and it is the second and stays the second. For a while, and then it goes back to the first one for a while, and then it stays on the first one. Oh. Oh, I understand now. You are messing around with these colliders, ginormous colliders, right? These ones. It's not yogurt, we can see in yogurt. So if I disable the detection, yeah. Alright, now I'm understanding what it's grabbing around. So we need to hide all other. Just one. I just want one. And he should be in the middle. If you are locked, please don't be. Thank you. So we have the first node, right? And we have the second node. There you go. Why the heck are you not moving? Sir, move. It doesn't have the path following. Okay. First one. There you go. It's going to go to the first one. And it's going to stop in there. Okay, maybe I shouldn't make it in there. Maybe I should make it in the ear, probably. So yes, it's going to go in there and it's going to stop. So you go to the first one and you stop in there. You are not going around anymore. So if I put both outside of our collider of the enemy, it's going to move to the first one and it's going to stay in the first one. And it didn't collide. Now the collision is not detected for some weird reason, but you are still the enemy group. You are still in here. So let's just make the good old reset. The good old reset. Builds, go dot. There you go. Now, he's doing the thing. It's not colliding though. He is not colliding though. And why you are not colliding? That's the thing. Maybe this? Do you have some stupid collision? One-way collision? Let me see. No, you don't have it. Hmm. So, what's the difference? What's the difference, sir? There is no difference. But you are going to collide with this one, so why are you not doing what you should? And why you did before? That's the question. So many questions, too little answers. Anyway, the canvas is always pissing me off. I want two path followings in here, so we have the path 1 and path 2. We have some enemies. I'm going to activate the other ones. Two of them should move. They have moved. They have moved to the second one. And for some reason, this path is now empty. So with just one, it worked. It didn't work. With two, it did. For some weird reason. Okay, now I can test this. So the first one will be in here, the second will be away, like in here. Let's go. So you are going to touch the second one, go to the first, come back, idiots. And they don't even collide with the player. Alright, I need to check this off stream, because this is getting me tired. And I should focus more on the code. So, any questions you have in chat that I might answer? Good sir, move the earth. Yeah. As always, coding is not what it should be, but that's okay, that's okay. I'm going to find this problem and going to fix it later, as I don't know what's going on with these nodes. Yeah, I got it moved. I didn't know why it doesn't update in here for some weird reason. And probably if I make this as player is now going to follow the player itself, I believe, right? Right? Finished. So they are going to the first one, then to the second one, then to the first one again, and if I move close to them they start following me, but then they stop in the first one again and never to come back for some reason. I don't know if they are too close to the second one or not. I don't know why. but that doesn't matter either. This should be updated, so let's call it for today, and then I will fix it later. Later. So follow us on Discord and our social media, so we shall see our links being posted in our chat. So we can follow us on Instagram, Twitter. We can also visit us on our own website, which I have done. That website should also be updated in this summer. We shall see. We can also check our previous games, which is the alpha for this game, at itch.io. You can also check the alpha for the Red Run, which is another platformer game that we are developing. I hope you have enjoyed this stream. It wasn't a productive stream, but we made the enemies move nonetheless. So, thank you for watching, and we shall see you next week. Bye bye.